I want you to take a moment and self-identify. Where are you coming from when you are doing all these business activities? Because the only way that you can actually change is by actually Hello, branders. How are you doing? Let's start another week really going after our dreams. And today's topic, I love talking about this. If you follow me on social media, if you have been around for a minute, this is something that I have introduced to my brand very early on, but lately I have actually doubled down on this. And it's actually the difference between the mindset work and the inner work. Now, the reason why I doubled down on this is actually a personal story, because this is literally my journey through business. I really believe that the inner work is actually where the secret is at with everything we do. And I'm going to break it down for you in a minute. But I think there is so much out there. People talk all the time like your mindset determines your success. And while that is true, I want to break it down for you why mindset alone is not enough. So I am going to try to do a really good job at doing this in the podcast in a short way. But this is the thing. I actually explained this very thoroughly last Monday in the 300K Blueprint Masterclass. Now, why did I call it that is in December last year, 2023, I got the call from our accountant that we had crossed the 300K mark. When I look back at the things that I've done to get there, I know that from 2022 to 2023, my strategy didn't change at all. What changed was me. What changed was the inner work that I had done and the things that I worked through that I'm going to share with you in a minute. So I hope that this helps you to truly understand why, if you right now are doing all the work, right? You are doing the mindset, you're doing the 28 steps morning routine, you're reading all the books, and you still feel like you are pushing against the wall and that you're actually taking action and you're doing all the things, but you're not getting to the level of success that you think you are putting the work for, I guarantee you that the blocks that you're encountering are in the inner work. So let's jump right in and let's actually break down what is the difference between the mindset work and the inner work. I want to start with telling you a story because I think that this is going to paint the picture of how all this work actually happened for me. So in 2019, I went full-time in my business. I actually quit my full-time job December 2018. And my business was making money, but obviously I wasn't working my business full-time. But what happened in 2019 that is so interesting, and if you have been around for a while, I call this year the year of darkness. Now, why I call it like that is because quickly after I quit my job, I actually went into this spiral, and I went from this woman that was very confident in her job, very motivated, and motivation was never an issue for me. But like I went from being very confident to really stepping into full-time business ownership and really like having imposter syndrome. Like all of a sudden I lost all of my confidence. I remember sitting in this office, my desk used to be in the other side of the office, but I used to sit in my chair and I vividly remember having this feeling like I was falling, like literally my whole body, like I was like going into this rabbit hole. Now, why this is important is because we're going to talk a little bit about somatics in a minute. But literally, I would get to my desk. I would be like super motivated, like, guys, I had a dream from day one to build this business, but I would sit on my desk and then 2 hours later, literally, it almost felt like I was depressed. What I went into the whole year was I was reading all the books and I was like doing the mindset. I did change a lot of my ways through that work, But then on 2020, when the pandemic hit, and I actually truly went all in, and 2020 is when I actually took my business online. 2019, 95% of what I was doing was photography, personal branding photography, and I was also in network marketing. In 2020, when the pandemic hit, and people were starting to ask me like, hey, can you help me with my content? We have all these photos, but we don't know what to do with it. That is actually how the coaching started at that time. But in 2020 is when I actually started jumping into doing identity work. And why this is important is because throughout all these years, I started to realize that mindset wasn't enough. And I'm going to break it down to you in a better way. So I kind of want you to paint this picture for you, right? And I want you to think, we live in a world where everything we want is literally a click away. You want to start a new business? Go to Instagram, open an account. You can start talking to people and sharing your message. Do you want to get a new boyfriend? Literally, there's an app for that, right? Do you want to lose weight? There is more resources and tools than ever before. You can go to YouTube. You can find apps that help you track your food, everything. And yet there is still women stuck that they are not getting to their full potential. So this is where I want you to ask this. Most of us, or most of you, or all of us, because there is always a next level, we are looking for the answer outside. We're looking for the next best strategy. We're looking for the next best tool. We're looking for the next, the next app, the next coach, the next somebody tell me what to do. And if you're not watching the video, I'm actually quoting, right? Please, somebody tell me what to do. And the reason why you're not finding the answer is because the answer is invisible. The answer is inside of you. And I'm going to break it down. Now, I want to do this disclaimer. You cannot sit and do all the work that I'm going to share with you and wait for shit to happen and not take action. That is not how it works. Okay, you still have to take the action in order for things to happen. Also, a strategy is still important, but I am going to actually talk about the inner work and the energy and the frequency behind the action and why you may have been stuck in whatever income that you are at. Like I find, and this is based on my experience with my clients and my own experience with myself, that getting to the first 3 to 5K, you can actually push, right? You can actually push, you can do action. But once you get to that, and actually you have to start putting some structure to your business, you have to start executing new strategies. That is when a lot of the women get stuck because now you're doing all the work, but nothing happens. So let's start here. I want you to think when something happens on your business. And we're going to keep all the examples to business because this is a personal branding and business podcast. Now, I want you to know that these examples, literally, this is like your relationship with self, your relationship with money, and your relationship with other people, okay? So I want you to think about this. Something happens on your business, like an external event. It can be anything. I gave the example on my masterclass of when you actually have a sales call, right? And somebody maybe says no. So everything that comes at us comes into our awareness through our senses, in this case, through our eyes, through our ears. And what happens is we're going to filter that. Now, we're going to filter that through our identity, which is your self-view of you. How do you see yourself? How do you identify yourself? So if you see yourself as confident and a go-getter and you know that you can overcome anything and you're seeing yourself as a business owner and you actually have a growth mindset over a fixed mindset, and we did another episode on growth and fixed mindset, so you can actually go and check that out. It was episode 12. We talked about energetics, we talked about fixed mindset and growth mindset. So you can go check that episode out also. But I want you to think about this. So something comes into your world through your senses, and then we're going to filter it. Now, the identity work is how you see yourself. And this is the thing. The people outside of you on the internet, on your content, on your podcast, when you go to a networking event, they will only see you to the level that you see yourself. And this happens in the way you communicate, on the way you tell people who you are. An example of this that I told many times is when I first went to a networking event. I remember I was still side hustling, and I remember I walked into this event and somebody was like, "Oh, what do you do?" And I was like, "Well, I'm still bartending, but I actually do photography." I didn't know this person. Now, that answer literally was telling this person how I saw myself. Now, this person didn't know I was a bartender. This person didn't know anything. I could have easily said, "Hi, my name is Ati. I'm a photographer," right? But I didn't see myself like that. So based on that, then your content, how you introduce yourself, how you tell people things, everything will be affected. Now, everything gets filtered through our identities, our memories, or limiting decisions, limiting beliefs, and also our values. Now, I'm not going to go in depth into these, but when you are filtering this, I want you to understand this concept, which is this is literally your internal representation of what's happening on the outside world. So if somebody tells you no because they're not ready to buy, maybe they don't think that your product is the right product, but there is nothing personal. At the same time, that we are filtering whatever happened through our identities or memories or limiting decisions or limiting beliefs, we're also generalizing, deleting, or distorting. What this means is if your belief of yourself, your identity, let's say, is that you're always rejected. My story was I had a lot of issues with my mom growing up. Like I always felt rejected by her. So when I would jump on a sales call, what would happen was my body literally was reliving this experience. Now, this wasn't happening at the conscious level. And this is where I want to take you into the 3 layers of change. And just so you know, this is a framework that I put to all of this. And I'm going to tell you a little bit of background for it, is I found myself doing all of this mindset work, right? Like changing my perspectives and changing the way I thought. But all these things were still happening. I was still feeling like shit when somebody say no. I was still feeling a lot of fear around money based on my experiences and based on the stories that I had around money. Another story was I had something really bad happen to me when I was around 11 years old, something that shouldn't have happened. I was carrying a lot of shame around me. So this was showing up on my life as who's going to want to listen to me? Nobody cares. So how is this showing up for you? The question is, when an external event happened, we filter it through our identity, our memories, decisions, limiting beliefs. That actually triggers a physical feeling. This is called a somatic, right? This is something that happens in your somatic. Now, this is all happening at the same time, and this is all happening in your subconscious. So I want you to think mindset work, it's happening in the conscious. Then we have the subconscious, and then we have the somatic, which is your body. We store a lot of memories, a lot of these emotions inside of our body. So when I hosted the masterclass on Monday, we were asking the attendees to kind of identify when somebody told them no, maybe they were sure they were going to make a sale and they didn't make it, where did they feel it? A lot of people say they feel it in their throat, they feel it in their chest, they feel it in their solar plexus. Now, this is the thing. When you're doing mindset work, and now there is a place for it, I want you to know there is a place because you're listening to this podcast through your conscious. This is like literally how you open the awareness for you to actually start learning about all these things. If you're not aware that all of this exists, you're never going to get to actually doing the work to remove all these identity things and memories and decisions and beliefs that we have in the subconscious. So when I felt like I was doing all the work and nothing was working, and I felt all the time when I would go to post, I would have all these thoughts and all these feelings inside of my body. And that is where I was coming from when I was creating content, when I was talking to clients, when I would go into a sales call. So my question to you is, where are you coming from when you're doing all these business activities? The identity, the internal representation, these experiences creates this feeling. Now, these feelings actually carry a frequency. So I want you to kind of like think about this. If you have shame, if you have guilt, in my case, it was a lot of shame that I was carrying inside of me. I was carrying a lot of judgment, a lot of fear, a lot of grief that I didn't even know it existed. All of these feelings are at the bottom of the frequency scale. These are all emotions. Now, I want to demystify frequency for you, or the Google work, because all we are doing is we're understanding that these feelings are at the lower of the frequency scale. And when you're coming from there, that is your point of attraction. So if you are in guilt, in shame, in hopelessness, that is what you're actually attracting. Now, as we move higher on the scale, we encounter courage, neutrality, willingness, acceptance, right? Reason, logic. Now, all of these ones were in the middle of this frequency scale. They feel like self-empowerment. They feel like relief, right? You have a can-do attitude. Now, I've been in all of them. I used to be in this guilt, shame, judgment zone. That is like when I felt like I was like falling, right? Because I would say go into a sales call or creating content or wanting to come up with all these ideas that I knew they could help other women, but I was coming from a place of guilt and judgment and all of that. I want you to take a moment and self-identify. Where are you coming from when you are doing all these business activities? Because the only way that you can actually change is by actually getting awareness. And this is where it's so important to not dismiss either the mindset work, right, which is the conscious work, because this is where you find it. Now, about 95% of all the things that we do every single day, all the daily processes, how you are reacting, right? We talked about something comes into your awareness, you filter it through your identity, you believe that happens in the subconscious. Now, how you react and everything that happens in your body after that, it's all in the subconscious. You have zero control of that. So what happens is the layers of change are three: conscious, subconscious, and somatic. At the conscious level is the mindset work. It's all the things that you're doing, that you're reading, but you're like, okay, why is nothing happening, right? I know all this shit. How many of you can say, well, I know I have to post. I know I have to do video. I know I have to network more. I know that inside of me, there is this rock star, but I can't show up as her. I know that my full potential, I can see it, I can feel it, I can scratch it. But it's like there is a glass between you and this highest self, the best version of yourself. This is the thing, because you unleash your highest potential of yourself when you actually do the inner work, the subconscious and the somatic work. A few of the questions we gave the women in our masterclass was, what are the feelings and emotions that do you experience daily around your business? And kind of like being able to be, okay, when I start, this happens. But then when I do this other activity, this happens. So somebody shared with me that when they do their job, their work, she is a personal trainer. She's like, I'm full of love. But then around money, when I have to sell, when I'm putting offers together, when I'm sending emails around selling my offers, I am in fear. So I want you to think, what do you attract, right? That is your point of attraction. Who do you have to evolve into to feel that way? How would you like to feel instead of fear, guilt, judgment? This could be towards self or towards money, right? Because if you're not feeling confident, if you're not feeling like you are the person that can help your clients, why should they think you're the person to help them? Do you see how everything is connected? Another question we ask them is, do you feel safe and regulated or anxious and fearful around your income? That frequency is key, because if you are in lack, you're going to attract more lack. Somebody was sharing with me, and this was somebody in my program. She was like, I'm hosting this workshop and it's not selling. I was like, okay, we need to move into the excitement of why are people going to be changed after showing up. And we did it. We changed it. And she actually met her goal for how many people she wanted in this workshop. But if you're in like, people are not signing up, guess what you get? People are not signing up. Now, my experience with this, especially inside of the Brand Academy, and I kind of want to tell you a story. We have been doing a lot of identity work inside of the academy for quite a while with a lot of success. But my biggest thing for me was why there is women that come into the academy and they see massive success, and there is women that come into the academy, same strategy, same coach, me, right? Same with like siblings, right? Like same education, but they didn't get the same results. And when I started digging deep, this is the difference. Is how are they feeling about themselves, the confidence, what is the frequency they are carrying around their content, their activities, and all of that. In my opinion, what I have done, for those of you that don't know, like this year, I actually got certified as a clinical hypnotherapist, EFT, time techniques, all things that we can use to reprogram our subconscious. Literally reprogram that identity, the limiting decisions, the limiting beliefs, how we see ourselves, and really change the frequency of these emotions from the inside out. Now, we do need the 3 layers of change in order to apply this, because if we cannot understand what are the beliefs that are stopping us, then we can change them. But we change them so much easier when we can tap truly into the subconscious and the somatic. So I hope that this episode really opened your eyes to where you are at. Because I'm going to tell you, my friend, building a personal brand and a business that you absolutely love does not need to be a roller coaster. I remember thinking, there is that meme and that graphic that goes around the internet that says a day in the life of an entrepreneur, right? And it says like 10 a.m., all happy, 11 a.m., down, and then up, and then down, and then up. And yes, while running a business is not for the faint of heart, and there is a lot of up and downs, your nervous system should be regulated enough where you can run your business from a place of trust, from a place of, I know that everything I desire is here or coming. I know that when I put content, I'm coming from a place of love and a place of alignment. And I know I'm here to help the world. Even like one easy practice, right? Before I recorded this episode, I sat here and I tapped into my heart, into the energy of my heart. This is the thing. A lot of you are looking for practices or things that are super complicated. It doesn't need to be complicated. But in my opinion, and this is why I created the 6-figure inner work formula, is we need to have a structure to do this work, because we are bombarded constantly with like, you should journal, go exercise, go move your body, go do breath work, go meditate, go do tapping. And for me, the change started happening when I truly gave these a structure that every day I had to do to tap into my conscious and understand what was happening, tap into my subconscious and reprogram it, and then a practice that can move those emotions and change my state right away. So the whole idea of this is, how can you become faster and faster and faster closer to this person that you actually want to be, which is your highest self, right? Your highest self, I know that right now you have a perfect vision. If you close your eyes, you already know she already showed up in your mind. Like how she shows up. She shows up bold on social media. She's sharing without thinking what other people are thinking about her. She's not thinking about her ex-coworkers, or she's not thinking about her mom or her boss. What are they thinking about her? She is showing up fully in her purpose, with love in her heart. But a lot of you are not showing up as her. And the misconception also is that you're going to jump from being here, where you're at right now, to be her right away. I believe that through these practices that we use, like, and a lot of the practices are journaling and really tapping into the conscious in order to understand what's happening in the subconscious. In the subconscious, we use hypnosessions. We use tapping to move into the somatic. I don't teach this because I'm not certified for that, but like breath work is amazing. Meditation. But the thing is, NLP, also I use these with my clients a ton, but this is the thing. If you're doing all the things and you don't have a way to track it and a way to actually go for it every single day and keep working on the topic on hand, you're throwing spaghetti at the wall. This is just like going to a gym and one day doing cardio and one day doing weights and another day doing yoga with no plan, right? The same happens in your business. One day you're in Instagram, another you're in Facebook, another day you're just doing something else. And then there is no continuity. And that's why you're not seeing the results by just reading books. Like all you're doing is putting information, looking for the answer on the outside. So I hope that this has opened your eyes in so many ways at why you're stuck at the income that you're stuck. Because I'm going to tell you this, at every level, there is a new devil. So this is not just for the woman that is stuck at 3 to 5K a month, which by the way, that is where I see it the most. But this is for anybody that is stuck and actually having these feelings around their work. And disclaimer to you, we all have them. Because again, at every level, there is a new devil. There is new beliefs that are being formed, maybe new ceilings that we need to break when it comes to what is our normal and what can we believe that we can make. So if you never made $100,000 a month or $40,000 a month, you're not going to believe that you can make it. That is not your normal. So it's almost like we need to like move these spaces, this ceiling, and who are we becoming every single day. I want you to think about it's like practice, right? It's like you practice being your highest self. You practice becoming her. And the more and more you embody her and you feel, I'm talking about emotions and frequency here, like her, you're faster and faster and faster becoming her. So I hosted the 300K Blueprint Masterclass last Monday. And if you want to go on this in depth, every single concept that I share here today, we still have it for sale. I'm going to put the link here on the bio, or you can head to the link on my bio on Instagram. We have it there too. Or you can actually DM me Blueprint and we will send you the link, because I really believe that the details on this is the difference between you staying where you're at and trying to push through action towards the next level, or really making it easier and being happier in your business and really truly embodying your best version of yourself. This masterclass in particular, it comes with a high self meditation that is going to help you tap into her. It also brings a tapping meditation to help you move the somatic, and all the journal prompts that you need to understand where you're at and where you are moving to. So I hope that this was amazing for you, that you loved it. And if you did, I would love for you to share on your stories and tell me what was your biggest takeaway and aha moment. I'll see you next week.